damned if I can remember what that year was. But it was around sort of 1990, 1991. And it all came about because, I will now tell you the story, since most of the participants have long since gone to their just reward. I talked to the English department about the possibility of doing a course on Shakespeare. And the English department was uncertain as to the suitability of having the president teaching in its department. Mostly, I think, because they felt that I would mind their business excessively. And given that hesitancy, I said to myself, well, you know, the people I really need to meet are the people in the community. So maybe what I should do is do a series of lectures on Shakespeare. And maybe people will come. And they did. Loads of them. Well over 100. Just sort of appeared one day for this series of lectures. And it went pretty well, so we did it again. And that went pretty well. We did it again and again. And by the time we got through 4 years, I'd actually talked about all of Shakespeare's plays. So then I went back and did it yet again. And Peg Bergathon, who you may remember, was, I think, the only person to complete both of those 4-year stints. So she, for 8 years, was listening to me talk about Shakespeare, which is considerably longer than I actually listened to myself talking about Shakespeare. But when we did that, when we offered that little program, people came up to me and they said, you know, this is a neat idea. Why don't you have other people teach courses of the same kind? The very first proposal we got was a group of people who said, we would like to do a little course on Aristotle's ethics. I almost fell over. And we actually managed to organize that by finding the acting provost at the University of Connecticut, who was a specialist on philosophy and taught a course on Aristotle. He was also interested in opera and ended up teaching a course on Wagner. And then little by little, people sort of appeared out of the woodwork and we started offering courses. And the President's College was, as it were, born. It wasn't born, it happened, which is why it's so hard to figure out when it actually started. Now, what we were doing, of course, was something that I think is really important in universities. We were blurring the boundaries between the university as a separate institution and the community of which it is a part. That's important because a university exists to serve, and it exists particularly to serve the community of which it's a part. So the President's College then became a device for doing just that. But this could not have happened if we didn't have people who got enthusiastic about the idea and were willing to give their time to make it happen. Because there was no money. We didn't have any money back at the beginning. I suppose as president I could have waved some kind of magic wand and produced some sort of budget, but I wasn't about to do that anyway, because this was a new program, a different program. It was my program in some sense, and it would have been unreasonable to do that. But these people kept volunteering. We ended up with this whole band of volunteers, eager to look after individual courses, eager to work with faculty members, eager to come up with new ideas, eager to give of their time to make the whole program succeed. At which point I realized that in fact what we had just started was something that was essentially unstoppable. Many of the people here today, Nancy being one of them, were in, if not at the actual origin of the whole program, at least in the early years. And it's you above all who kept the idea of the President's College going and caused it to continue as a part of the University of Hartford. The thing that bothers me, if anything, Steve, at the moment, is that we've now become institutionalized. To become institutionalized is both a good thing and a bad thing. It implies that you have arrived and you've become a part of the overall organization, but it may also imply that they've locked you up somewhere. And in fact, the kind of institutionalization that we have runs the risk of, in some sense, becoming locked up. I don't mean that literally, but what I'm suggesting is that it's all too easy to suppose that we are simply a part of the university and things will just keep rolling along. We can't ever do that. It's very important to think always that we have to perform and outperform the other programs in the university if we're going to be successful. Now, volunteers we had in abundance in those early days, and here you all are. This is continuing now. But the reality is that without the library, none of this would have been possible. Because, of course, what we did was tie the program to the library. And above all, we used whatever money we made not to put into staff, but to put into books. Not to put into staff, but to put into all the various other things that go along with libraries. And it's thanks to Randy Ashton Pritting that this became possible. So Randy deserves a special word of thanks for her obstinate persistence with the President's College. She stuck with it, and it, as a result, flourished. This also meant, of course, that the people who were involved in it became a part of the fabric of the library as well. And there is no better way of linking people to universities than through the knowledge that is contained in the library. You are people who are thinking people. You are people who enjoy your intellects and other people's intellects, and you are therefore ideal for what we were trying to achieve. But volunteers don't just happen. They require recruitment, they require organization, they require imagination. And those three things are things that Nancy Mather has in abundance. Nancy has been involved with the President's College since the mid-90s, I would say.
1994.
1994, there we go, that's almost the beginning. Way before it makes you pre-apostrophic, to say the least. And indeed, Nancy has been pulling the volunteers together, pointing them in the right direction, encouraging them and involving them over so many years. So as we thank all of the people involved in the President's College, and as we thank also Steve for his involvement now, continuing to carry that torch, as it were, and as we thank Walter for all the help he's given us over the years, he's now actually turned into a teacher in the President's College, if there is such a thing. And it's splendid that this has happened. But as we do all that, we should remember particularly that Nancy, above all, has been the person who has kept the volunteers together and kept them pointed in the right direction. It is a huge contribution that you've made, Nancy. It's a contribution also that manifested itself in so many ways over the years in your own enjoyment and involvement. We did those trips to Europe, you remember, for years, and you went on many of those trips, some of them memorable for all kinds of unfortunate reasons, like the occasion when we lost somebody at a stately home in Britain. I was told that he had just gone for a bathroom break. And that turned out to be really difficult to deal with because there were several bathrooms, he didn't reappear, we couldn't find him anywhere, and I ended up going from men's room to men's room, peering under the stalls to see if I could find him. Meanwhile, while I was doing that, he wandered back to the bus as though nothing was wrong. There were many incidents of that kind, most of them somehow rather deeply personally embarrassing. But here we all are. And so, Nancy, we have here a small token of our appreciation. It is indeed merely a token. But I'd like you to come up and accept this little gift and also take the microphone.
I really can't resist a microphone. So I'm very happy to be here and have this opportunity to say a few words. You have heard what I have done over these years for the President's College. But you don't know or haven't heard what the President's College has done for me. And I think that probably as I go detail some of these thoughts that I have, that you will agree with me and will feel that you too have experienced and are experiencing what I have experienced all these years. I joined the President's College in 1994 because a friend of mine invited me to a program. I was so taken up with this program that I decided that upon my retirement, my husband Walter and I would become members of the President's College. Little did I know at that time that I was given a gift, and I was. I was given a gift that has really, what's the word? It has given me so much in these years in terms of friendship, intellectual growth and stimulation. People have become my friends and have supported me. I really have learned so much. It has really enriched my life these past years. It really has. And I hope that every single person who, once upon they reach the age of retirement, would have this opportunity, because I gotta tell you, they really don't know what they're missing. I celebrated my 85th birthday 3 years ago in Italy. Remember? I mean, come on. How can you beat that? So it's just been an amazing opportunity. The friends that I've made, the support that I've had, as life, we all know what happens as we go along. Things are not always as they should be, and we are hit with certain things that most people hit with. I have been, as you all know, I've lost a husband, I've lost a son recently. But I have to mention this because I must tell you that without the support and the love and the friendship of the people that I've come to know all these years at the university, I really would be a lot worse off. So for that, I thank everybody. The university has given to me more. Well, I feel as though I'm in their debt. I'm in debt to the University of Hartford for all it has enriched my life. Someone said that the university is an unknown jewel. Well, I gotta tell you, as far as I'm concerned, I would shout it from the rooftops, all that the University of Hartford is, and all that the university has to give and continues to give to this community. Thanks.
Thank you, Nancy, for your service. I think Nancy may be a little too modest. Her contributions to President's College continue to this day. She's involved in a really very enterprising new initiative to establish a speakers bureau to send folks out to groups in the area to proselytize on behalf of the President's College. So her work goes on, and we thank you for that. And thank you, Humphrey. You know, it occurs to me, we have some members of Nancy's family here, her daughter-in-law, and her son, Robert. Could you guys stand and just be recognized? You've all come.
I want to take a video, Mom?
There we go. So we've come to the end of the very formal portion of our program here. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think we've paid for the wine bar to be open till 6, right? So if you hurry, I think there's time for one more. Thank you all so much for coming, and thank you all for supporting the President's College and volunteers. Thank you very much.
And I'm free. I'm free.
So I got it all on video.
Oh, it did? Oh, good, because then I'll know
Then
what I
you
said.
know what you said. You said a lot. Beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, so important.